Hello and welcome. Today we are in the Tier 8 German battleship, the Tirpitz. We're playing on the map Trap, and it is an entirely Tier 8 battle. There are CVs unfortunately, but there are luckily only 2 destroyers on each team, and there are plenty of battleships to fight and plenty of cruisers to fight. Now, I've played a few matches of the Tirpitz with the buffed accuracy, but that's not actually the thing I noticed most. For some reason, my Turp tubes got permad every game. And I mean, one game I lost both of my Turp tubes permanently before I hit even 50% HP. And when that happens, I really wonder, is playing the Tirpitz worth it? Wouldn't I be better off just playing the Bismarck? Because you can't permanently destroy the Hydro, so at least I would have the Hydro, right? Anyway, what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna approach on the side quickly, because the Tirpitz is actually a fairly fast battleship, at least for Tier 8. And the plan is that I will try to go around there and push, depending on how much enemy resistance we see on the sea cap. If there's a lot of them, well, I guess maybe pushing isn't the best idea. But if there's only a few, I think that might be the way to go. The main thing is that when I start the game, and usually when I go in a certain direction, enemies or allies tend to follow me, and in this case it seems that our second Tirpitz is also doing a very similar thing that I am. Which isn't always the greatest thing, because it also means that your forces aren't really spread out, and if you are in a ship that's, I don't know, like an Henri, that tries to be far away and safe, and because you're so fast you end up going first, well, your allied battleships and whatnot also follow you over there. Or they will follow you halfway. For example, ouch, that hurt. This Tirpitz might like follow me like right here, and even though if I were to push forward, the Tirpitz won't follow me. So essentially he will be in a very defensive position that he doesn't capitalize on, whereas I would probably be dying for it. Also, that salvo really hurt that I just took. I hope the Harakaze can... Never mind. I wanted to say that I hope the Harakaze can help me deal with the destroyer in the sea cap, but apparently that's never going to happen, and this already means that we need to turn around, because this is impossible. We can't do anything over here because our radar cruisers are far away and we don't have a destroyer anymore, so we're pretty much dead. We can just try to get as much as possible out of this, and then we're all gonna die. Because again, it's impossible if you don't have a destroyer. Wow, actually broke a turret. Incredible. I guess the best I can hope is a close range encounter with an Amagi or the Richelieu and try to torp her, and then I'll probably just die. Aerroon. Hello. How are you doing, Aerroon? You seem to not be very fond of your broadside, huh? My secondaries will open up on the Richelieu soon. This is actually the most dangerous bit. This is usually the bit where torpedoes might suddenly appear, and then you take a whole bunch of damage and you're very, very sad. Come on, Aerroon, you know you want to come back. Oh yeah, this is a CV game too, so that makes things even worse, huh? Because suddenly CV and then suddenly dead, because there's no way to get out of the anti-air of the CV, or the planes of the CV, because you can't outrun them, you can't hide from them, and they do deal a lot of damage because they'll come back immediately. Now the worrying bit here is that RPF is on me, and there's a good chance the destroyer is actually on the other side of this island, and then I'm gonna be very sad. Actually, what's even worse is if she isn't on the other side of this island, if she's gonna be like over there where the Richelieu is, and she just torpedoes and tries to be really, really annoying. Oh, Amagi doesn't want to seem to fight. Interesting. I'm gonna slow down for a little bit. Hopefully this throws off any kind of past predictive line torpedo stuff. And I guess the plan is to just go close, try to torpedo something, and hope that we deal enough damage that it was worth it, because this game is unplayable at this point. Like, the moment their destroyer died, this flank was dead. So there was no chance of getting anything from here after that. Ouch! 11k again! Why does he hurt so much? Should probably target the Amag actually, because more angle on her. Oh, actually, Irian is a good target here. For the main guns at least. The nice thing when you're going close to... What is he doing here? Richelieu. What is this magic? Goodbye, Richelieu. Now we need to angle for against the Massachusetts. And hope the Yamagi doesn't punish us too much. My secondaries are focused on the Irian because she does have... No! That hurt, Amagi. That was very not cool. Okay, we want to do some damage over time against this Massachusetts now. So we want fires and whatnot. That's a weird torpedo. Anyway, we did 144k damage. Sure, it's not the greatest, but we sank the only enemy ship that has been sunk so far, and I mean, considering the situation... Look, the problem is this. I was already over here by the time our Harakaze died over here. If I turn around now and start going back, I won't be doing anything for the next, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes. So I think pushing here was the better option, at least for a random battle. If this was ranked, obviously I would turn around, but for a random battle, pushing here is, I think, the better choice, because this means that there will be battleships that will be fighting me over here. And this means that they won't be harassing our Baltimore over there, or Tirpitz, and I would like to say our Cleveland, but the Cleveland is actually already dead. And I mean, we did get one tier 8 battleship for this, and we got a whole bunch of the Massachusetts too, which I think the Implacable can now finish off. I still think we're gonna lose the game, because our ships are nowhere near as good. I mean, and by ships I mean the players. But, I mean, it's not certain, right? This Amalfi is in a poor position and could potentially be punished, but considering that they don't have anything over there, maybe it's fine. Our North Carolina and Gascon, actually these three can probably take these three. No, never mind, the Kiev is over here, so that complicates things, but it's doable. Our Z-23 is in an interesting position. I would actually like this position if we held a sea cap, which we don't. And there's a Kagera over there. In fact, there's a Massachusetts over there too. Oh wow, actually, okay. Yeah, never mind. We lose this game. Yep, it's GG. I think. I don't see. The CV can't focus on the Massachusetts because there's a Kagera right next to him. He has to focus on the Kagera, and the only direction he can run away from the Kagera is towards the enemy, which is not exactly ideal. I think the Implacable needs... No, he can't actually turn around either because there's a Massachusetts coming from behind the Kagera, and there's a Kiev on the other side behind there. So the only way forward is, well, actually no, he needs to go into the B cap. Actually no, he can't do it because the Massachusetts is gonna be in range, and if he shows broadside to go through that gap, he is gonna get Citadel. So the only option here is to kill all of those guys and keep going forward. I mean, one Bismarck went down. Cleveland really isn't much of a problem for the Implacable. It's the other Bismarck that's the main issue. Thing is, the battleships need to be heading in that direction, in that one, not towards the CV. Yeah, I think this is I mean, we're ahead in ships, right? So it's not actually the worst thing in the world, and let's be honest, if this... I guess we can really ignore this Massachusetts. She can't do anything at this point, can she? I mean, she is so far out of the battle that there's nothing that's... The only thing she could potentially fight is the Z-23 because the CV spots her. Only because of that. And if this Z-23 were smart, she would use her smokescreen right now. But she isn't, and she also has anti-air turned on. Which explains the positioning of the Z-23 earlier. Maybe he'll get the... Oh! She got the cap, that's okay. That means it's gonna be okay, even if this Z-23 plays poorly, we at least hold the advantage. So I think even if we lose the CV here, it might still be okay. I mean, actually, when I say if, but I'm pretty sure it's when. Although at this point the Implacable can turn around and try to run, but I think she's already too low to make it out of here. But it's possible. I mean, she is trying, and there's the North Carolina, Gascon, Amalfi, Tirpitz, Baltimore all helping. The Kiev can more or less be ignored, I think. Wait, what? The Bismarck swapped targets for the secondaries? Why? Why would you not target the CV? What are you doing, Bismarck? Paul? That's not a good strategy. Exploding doesn't help either. You really should, you know, get that checked out. Because it looks kind of bad. Probably not the best for your health. Well, this Kiev is completely dead now. So I guess I stand corrected, huh? The Implacable was fine. But on the other hand, I guess I was kind of right too, because the only place to go for this guy was the B-cap, and he is... what is this? He is 1 kilometer away from the cap zone. He is sailing near the Kagero, but the Kagero does not have a good shot on the Implacable. I mean, this guy, his positioning has been pretty good, all things considered. Like, I would say most CVs would be dead at this point. So I guess he deserves a compliment. I don't know about those weird torpedoes at the start, or the target selection or anything, but he survived. I don't expect that most CVs would survive something like that. And I think at this point the game's in the bag. Other than me fighting the Massachusetts, she has been pretty much useless. The question is, if I hadn't come over here and fought the Massachusetts somewhere over here, would the Massachusetts have gone over there? Because if she had actually, you know, pushed through here, she would have been so much more useful. But right now, the only ship she basically fought over here was me, over here, and then he was useless by sailing from here all the way around here to there. She hasn't done anything in that time. And yeah, this Kagero just got run around the map and ended up not doing anything either. I'd like to also point out that the Implacable is now sailing towards the Massachusetts. Implacable, are you sure you don't want to play the Graf Spee instead? The ship would seem to fit you very well, considering how much he rushes the enemy. Okay, I get it, he didn't really have a choice in many of these situations. Still, it's kind of funny. Anyway, game's over. The Massachusetts is gonna go down, we hold all 3 cap zones, the enemy Implacable does not have any chance of doing anything about this, and it's over. Okay, the torpedo drops could be better. I'm just saying, I have certainly seen somewhat better torpedo drops in my time. I think this... never mind, I wanted to say, I think this one might actually hit, but I don't think that's the case. It's particularly funny because he had essentially all the time in the world, because he has 3 minutes to do the final drop, right? He doesn't have any more planes to launch. Yeah, I'm not particularly impressed by the dropping action of the CV, but he did position himself well, so there's that. He played an effective Tank. A StarCraft streamer would have called this an R magnet, but I can't explain what the word R means because YouTube doesn't like it. Essentially, it seems as though the role of that CB was to just attract the enemy destroyer and some of the battleships or battleship. And that distracted them long enough that we basically won the game. Probably because we had more ships to fight the enemy. Even though I had such a short game, I think this was quite enjoyable. I mean, I had quite a wild ride with that engagement over there. Got my secondary hits in, got my torpedo hits in, and I was still number 1 in XP. How much time did I even spend in the game? Less than 7 minutes. I was alive for less than half of the game. 7 minutes out of 15. And that was number 1 in XP. I mean, do you know what that means? That means my team had teamwork. Because they shared XP rather, equally. I have to say that on the Tirpitz I definitely seem to feel like there is some accuracy there. And it feels kinda nice. The guns feel pretty good. As do the secondaries. I'd like to say so do the torpedoes, but my torpedo tubes have perma'd so much recently that I haven't been able to use them enough. But this was quite a nice game. I mean, look, secondary hits did 8k damage to this Aerroon, right? Only 23 hits, but 8,000 damage. That's pretty good. Consider that, or compare that with the Massachusetts. 37 secondary hits for 3,000 damage. Or the Richelieu with 21 hits for 2,000 damage. Reason it does damage to the Aerroon is because the Aerroon is a cruiser and is obviously lightly armored, which means the secondary hits can penetrate. I guess we can take a look at the captain and the upgrades, in case you're curious. Oh, see, I lost the Tirpitz game earlier. So, I went with Priority Target, Expert Marksman, Superintendent, Advanced Firing Training, Manual Secondaries, Basics of Survivability, and Adrenaline Rush. I tried another build with Fire Prevention and Preventative Maintenance, but for some reason, in that game, that's actually the game both of my torp tubes got permanent. I mean, I wanted to try this one out as well, because this Basics of Survivability means shorter fires, even though you can have more of them, but you also get the Adrenaline Rush, which is quite a nice skill, I think. Especially now that the main batteries are pretty decent. And upgrades-wise, it's what you would expect. So here I went with main armaments modification before I used auxiliary armaments, because I wanted my secondaries to survive, but when my torp tubes got broken enough, I figured I would switch over. Then obviously secondary range, damage control system modification 2, and then obviously concealment expert, because, well, concealment expert is very nice to have. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I would like to thank the patrons on Patreon. Thank you very much for your continued support, Martin Wolf, and I hope I'll see you guys next time.